Hello again everyone, Jessica with From Dream to Seed, and today I have a little bit of a seed starting update video for you. I also wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who's watching my videos. I recently hit over 200 subscribers, which to me is a really big deal. I know it's not a huge number to some, but to me it's amazing that many people are interested in what I have to say. So thank you so much if you're one of those people. If you're new, welcome. I really appreciate you watching my videos and supporting my channel. I'm here to support new gardeners and to help as many people get into this amazing world and community of gardeners as they possibly can. So let's get into the video and see how my new seeds are doing. I have a few different projects going on right now when it comes to seed starting, at least, and I am a little bit behind, although I feel like I say this every year, but I have good reason this time. We were out of town for a week, and so I didn't want to start my warm season crops and just kind of leave them that early in their stage of development. So I'm a week behind in starting some of my warm season crops, and also the weather has been very uncooperative, which isn't out of the ordinary for the Ohio Valley, but we have had huge swings in temperature. We've had a day where we had, actually a day and a half, where we had like 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts, which is a lot for new plants. So usually I have my cool weather seedlings hardened off and put into my garden, but I've had to wait until the weather's not quite as harsh. So currently I have moved out my spinach, my onions, and I have lettuces and a few cool season herbs growing. I'm in the process of hardening those off. So right now they are outside. I like to put them on my steps to my deck, my outside deck. And that kind of still allows them to get sun and a little bit of wind, but it provides a little bit of a windbreak for them since it's still kind of windy outside. And then today I am starting, not all, but a good portion of my warm season plants. So today I'm starting a couple different kinds of tomatoes. I am starting peppers. I am starting a few different herbs, parsley, dill, cilantro, basil. I'm also starting quite a few flowers. As I've said in a previous video, I'm really focusing on growing flowers this year. Part of it is just to expand my knowledge on specific varieties of flowers. I've always grown flowers, but I want to kind of expand my knowledge a little bit. And I'm also trying to really focus on inviting pollinators into my yard, because when you have more pollinators, your vegetable and fruit crops will do better as well. So I am growing less vegetables, although I'm still growing quite a few, but I am focusing a lot on flowers. So right now I'm going to be starting some vinca, several varieties of dwarf cosmos. And I'm also starting pumpkin on a stick, which is not a flower. I think it's technically in the gourd family, but it's just kind of a cool ornamental flower that I can use for fall harvest. And I think that's about it. So just several flowers that are really pollinator friendly. So I'm also in the process of chitting my seed potatoes, and chitting just means that you're preparing them to plant. So I get my seed potatoes from Wood Prairie Family Farm. I've done that the last 3 years and I've really enjoyed their seed potatoes. There are ways that you can grow your own seed potatoes if you want. I grow because I'm in a suburban area, and although I do have 11 raised beds, so I have quite a bit of growing space. What I grow, I'm growing to feed my family. So I don't necessarily have the space or the want at this point to grow potatoes for seed. I want to grow them for food. So right now I am ordering my seed potatoes. And so I am, like I said, chitting them, which means that I am letting them sprout, and I'm allowing those sprouts to green up a little bit. And then I will be cutting my seed potatoes into smaller parts. Usually it'll have at least 2 sprouts per section. I will let that kind of toughen up a little bit, and then I will be planting them in the garden. You don't necessarily have to cut the seed potatoes, but doing this will allow you to have a few more plants than you normally would. So if you're interested in growing potatoes, I will be doing a separate video about how I prep and plant and then care for my potatoes. So be sure to look out for that one. The other project that I have going on, not today, but I will have going on in the next 2 weeks, is I'll be starting seeds for my Aeroponic garden. So I have an Aeroponic, it's a tower garden, that's the brand name of it. And I plant mostly tomatoes in this. They do really well. So if you're unfamiliar with what an aeroponic garden is, I will also be doing a video on this. But it is a soilless system, and it kind of continually rotate, or not continually, on a timer it rotates water through the system, and that water has nutrients in it. So it's similar to a hydroponic system, with the exception that the roots are not constantly sitting in water. It's being aerated from time to time, or the water is being cycled from time to time to provide nutrients to those roots. So again, I will be doing a video on that. But I can't start seeds in soil because it is a soilless system. So I will be starting, I'm growing San Marzano tomatoes in my tower garden this year. And I can usually fit about 4 tomatoes. It gets pretty crowded, but usually 4 tomatoes is about all I can fit in it. But you start them in these little pods. It's actually spun kind of volcanic rock, and these will eventually break down, but they have a little kind of depression in the center. And I will start seeds similar to how I start in soil. I'll put 2 to 3 seeds in. I will actually cover it with vermiculite, and then they will just sit in water. This is just kind of one of those water catching dishes I got from the dollar store, but they'll just kind of sit in water until they sprout. The difference between this and my other seeds is my other seeds I can let get pretty big in their containers, and I usually get them, my tomatoes for example, at least 4 to 5 inches tall before I put them in the garden. I cannot up pot these because this is the only size of container or little planting pod that I have for these. So these tomatoes will go into the tower garden pretty small, usually 2, maybe 3 inches top. So I have to start these a few weeks later than I do all my other tomatoes, and they'll go straight from here into my tower garden. Okay, so I'm going to finish starting some of my warm season seeds today. I've already got about half done this morning. As you can see, that's why everything's a mess. And I'm usually doing this outside by this time of year with my own seed starting mix that I like to make. However, it's in the low 40s today, and I'm kind of a wimp with cold weather, not gonna lie. So I am indoors making a huge mess. So I just had this is Jiffy seed starting mix that I bought. It's just easier than having to mix up a bunch of seed starting mix inside. But like I said, it is pre-moistened. I like to start with pre-moistened mix. That just is a little bit better, I think, for seed starting rather than having to dump a bunch of water over tiny little seeds where you might displace them. I did want to note in my Seed Starting 101 video, I talked about how I like to use the white plastic tags to identify my seedlings. I do use those for outside or any seeds that I'm starting directly in the garden or seeds that aren't going under my grow lights, which aren't very many. But if seeds are going under my grow lights, then I will usually just tag the seed flats with this is painter's tape and just a pin. And this allows me to get the grow lights down really close to those seeds as they're germinating. When you're growing under grow lights, a lot of times people will have the grow lights too far above and you can get really leggy seedlings. So you really want those grow lights down as low as you can get them. And having those big plastic tags kind of gets in the way of those grow lights. So while they're inside, I just tag with tape on the side of the seed starting container, and then when I move them to the garden, I will switch to the white plastic tags that are bigger and a lot easier for me to see. Okay, so I have my tomatoes, herbs, flowers, and ground cherries. I'm also growing ground cherries, which if you haven't grown those or don't know what they are super delicious. That's been my new favorite thing that I started growing last year. So I have, I think, 8 of those. So both of these seed flats are gonna go under my grow lights. They will also both go under heat mats. I do start all my seedlings on heat mats. And they should be ready to plant out hopefully on Mother's Day weekend, which is the last frost date for my area in zone 6B. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit today. I hope you're getting super excited about growing in your own garden. Be sure to also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I do upload really short reels and videos that give kind of quick tips on how to grow things, and I also give previews of videos that I will be making soon. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.